Hello everyone, my name is Lycan and this is Late Game episode 19. With me I have ZombieGrub, Kane, and as always the ever-present Stephen Bunnell. How you guys doing?
Hello. Good.
Good.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I need to start directing that question to
Yeah.
someone specifically, like, Kane, how are you?
Do you actually want me to answer?
Yes.
Okay. I'm good. A little bit sick right now, but quick recovery is on the horizon, I think. And yeah, just been playing some StarCraft and kind of relaxing.
Just relaxing a little bit with that career, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Good, good. All right. Stephen, how you been?
I'm doing great.
You're starting to look like the normal Stephen. Your hair growing back
Thanks.
out.
Yeah, it's working its way back out there.
You gonna keep it out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't normally shave my head, so.
Good. Yeah, I like it. And you actually answered the question, ZombieGrub. So with that, we have a shit ton to talk about today. Looking at the schedule that I wrote and do not have memorized, we're going to talk about the ladder changes. We're going to talk about GSL today, MMA, parting versus MMA, the legacy of the Void beta. We'll talk a bit about IEM. We're going to talk about WCS points and the SSL and the Lycan League and RedEye going over to Gfinity and DreamHack not having StarCraft at as many events. So there's a lot to talk about today. So we'll kick it off with the ladder changes. So this doesn't really apply from a pro perspective, but how familiar are you with the changes Kane, that were going on?
Yeah, I knew that like people weren't getting into the leagues that they're supposed to go into, and the distribution of the leagues was really off. So I'm glad that they're getting that fixed. I wish they could take a look at the queue times on the North American ladder for pro players and for players with really high MMR.
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting like silver players and platinum players and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird because I'm like right now I'm rank 1 GM and I'm getting silver players, which is really stupid. And it's after usually a 10 or 15 minute queue or something like that. So it's really hard to play for me right now. Hard to find motivation when that stuff kind of happens. But I'm glad that they took a look at the lower leagues, and I hope that the changes are working. I'm not too sure if they are. I thought I saw some stuff that indicated that they weren't really going as planned, so I hope that they get that looked at.
All right. Now, ZombieGrub, you're master, right?
No, I was Masters.
You were masters. Are
Yep.
you another stuck in diamond?
Maybe. Yeah, I am in Diamond. My opinion on the whole, like, I actually thought that the ladder fix worked. Like, I heard they implemented it, and I was like, I'll just go play some games. And I ended up winning, like, going on, like, an 8-0, like, win streak. And I was like, oh, everything's great. This is lovely. But then I checked back Reddit, like, the next day, and they're like, oh, nothing has changed. So it was just an odd coincidence. And if that's the case, then that's some BS.
So
Well, I think I don't think the changes shouldn't have affected matchmaking at all. I don't believe it was just supposed to affect the distribution.
right.
Yeah.
Leagues.
So yeah,
I don't understand how something. I don't. This is something that should be pretty easy. I don't understand how this gets fucked up.
So here's my theory on it, because everyone.
You have a rating system, like it's just a bunch of like really basic math, no? Like,
Well, right, but so let's say that diamond is 18%. That's the cap that they set when they put out there, right? They don't actually have implemented that 18% is as many as can fit in diamond. They say we look at the ladder and we see that this is the MMR rating, and then we're going to cut it up into these chunks, right?
Yeah, but MMR and all of that's all relative. So
Well-
I don't understand how you can not be matching your percentages
So
unless they've set like hard, like arbitrary values. Doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah, and that's what you would think. You would say this is the percentage of players that should be at that, but maybe that's the way it's happening. Look at last year when we saw the changes that occurred in January. After they fixed it the next day, there was that huge promotion wave, right? I think everyone expected that to happen, and assuming that Blizzard is a competent company that runs the game, which they are, I think what happened is they do set a somewhat strict number, so it's not as, I guess, flexible with the population as
Well, that is literally, there's no argument to be like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you just not have it set so that 18% of whatever, like you have all of your MMRs in a giant fucking pool of all where the people are rated. The top 200 are GM, the top one or 2% are masters, and then
Right.
the top 10% are diamond or whatever. Like that should be how it's set up. I don't understand why would you do anything else? There's no argument for any other system than that if you want the leagues to be based on a percentage basis, which is what they should be because everything is relative, right? Top 10% relative to the rest of the StarCraft II population should be Diamond. Why would you have why wouldn't it be that?
Doesn't MMR decay come into like an effect here in that like the top percentage wouldn't always be the case? Like if someone
MMR decay mathematically should just subtract a certain amount of points off of your MMR after some amount of time has passed, which would then
but then wouldn't that kick you down to Diamond percentage?
Yeah, sure, which is fine.
But then you can't get demoted.
Yeah,
so that's the big problem. You can't be demoted in a season, and that's why everyone's bringing that up now. Like, what did they even think of this? And then Silent comes out with like that was only half of the part.
But if you can't be demoted, then that means that the percentages for the higher league should be even higher, not lower. If you can't be demoted, then Masters should be like 3% instead of 1% when the goal is 2%. So that even that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They said that they fixed it, and then people were like, "You didn't," and then they come out saying that was only half of a fix. JK, guys.
So here.
Oh my God, that Scion guy is so fucking pants on head retarded. I can't believe he fucking said that. When people were like, "Yo, your fix didn't do shit," and he's like, "That was just part 1, guys." Oh my fucking God, did they even fucking change
wait,
anything?
hold on. All right. So before you said the comment about you would think it would be proportionate to percentage, which I very much agree with your statement on that. But let's assume it's not, right? Or let's assume there's some other factors into it, and that's only part of it. So, and I know people are like on the anti-Blizzard jerk wave right now. So give me a second. But what I think might be happening is they looked at it and they said, okay, this is how many people are considered active, and they probably did their analysis of how many games are played by each account, and they said, okay, this is a threshold for what we consider active. And then they looked at inactive, and then they looked at trended inactive, like, okay, how often are these people coming back? Like 3 times a year? Are they coming back after every patch? What about last time we made the ladder change? How many people came back? And they took all this information, and then they said, okay, so we don't want to inflate the upper leagues because everyone's going to rush back after we create the threshold. They made a small change, and they predicted that X number of players are going to come back or X number of players are going to play more because we made changes, and then those people are going to get promoted. So they kind of accounted for those people to come back and get promoted. And
yeah, but it doesn't make sense because literally it's all just percentages. If you have 10 people, okay, let's say you have 2 leagues, okay? Mm-hmm. One is called Gosu League and one is called Noob League, okay? Let's say that Gosu League is 3 people and Noob League is 7 people, okay? Mm-hmm. And that's your split, is 30-70. 30% are Gosus and 70% are noobs. Then it should there should always be that way. If 50
absolutely.
people let's say 90 people then come back to the game. You don't need to adjust your algorithms or change anything else just because 90 people came back. You would just have 30 people in Gosu League and 70 people in Noob League. Let's say only 50 people came back. Or let's say only 40 people came back, so you've got 50 people, right? Then you would have 15 in Gosu League and 35 in Noob League. It doesn't make sense to try to... this isn't complicated. There's no reason to make this complicated. It's just simple percentages. MMR is all relative to everyone else. And the percentages of the leagues is just a distribution relative to the other people.
The way you were explaining makes perfect sense. I absolutely agree with you, but assuming that they aren't stupid and just lying to us, I'm trying to think of how Blizzard, what might actually be happening. So maybe they don't operate it that way.
Okay. I don't know why it doesn't. This is this is not even worth talking about. Like Elo systems have existed for fucking how long has Elo been around for fucking chess? This isn't difficult to do. Like I don't understand why this is even an issue. Yeah. You have cap set. 2% of the people are able to get into this based on your ranking to other people, and that's it. And Master should always be at around 2%, give or take maybe a couple tenths of a percentage point because of random shit like people not playing or MMR decay or whatever shit like that. And then that's it. The idea that Masters could shrink to 1%, what's the factor keeping Diamond people from being promoted? What's keeping people from lower leagues to being bumped up into higher leagues to match the to match the distribution to what it should be.
So with that, what I think is, and maybe that's the other thing. Maybe it's off active player base, right? Because I've seen some people talking about Blizzard takes into consideration active player base, right? So yeah, we see all these people on ladder, but unless they're active, they don't get counted for promotions.
Yeah, but even on active, that's not true because all of the databasing websites, or all of the database websites that keep track of all the people that play StarCraft, like that Noir or whatever.
Nios, yeah.
Or Korean, and then the SC2 ranks. I don't know if people use SC2 ranks anymore, but everybody uses that other one, ni.o. Yeah, the Nios one. Yeah, even that showed that the Masters percentage had actually shrunk like 1/100th of a percentage point or 1/100th of a decimal rather than increase as it's supposed to.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's taking into account active people. This seems like a really easy. This is like really dumb to talk about. Like this is a really easy problem. I don't understand how something like this could be difficult. Like this isn't difficult to do. These systems have existed for a long fucking time. Like all you need to like, you could almost like manually go in and just do like a fucking and just do like a complete like fucking like a database wipe of like the league that you're in and just reset everybody's league and redistribute accordingly and then go from there. And that would probably make more sense. Like they could just say, all right, everybody, we fucked everything up. Now you all have to play one placement match, right? So they remove everybody from a league, then everybody plays their one placement match, and then based on where your MMR is, right? Because your MMR is just a number. Based on where your MMR is after you play your placement match, right? Compared to the other people who've been active in X amount of time, say the last week, right? Then you're just placed in a league, and then that's it. And then and then the distribution is fixed in one day. I don't know why. I don't understand what would keep this from happening.
I get what you're saying. I completely agree, and I think maybe what we should talk about for a second, or at least just the takeaway from this, is that there could be a little more transparency in what Blizzard tells us. You know, I'm not saying they have to give us every secret all the time, but a little more detail. You know, because they see the questions we ask, they know the kind of questions the community is going to ask, and maybe there are certain reasons that if there's a reason they're not telling us a certain thing, at least come forward and say, hey, this is why we're not giving you that information, things like that. So I think that we can end it there with this one, and we want to know a little more detail behind it so people can stop speculating and, you know, actually grow a little faith or resume having faith in Blizzard to some degree. All right, so we're going to move on. ZombieGrub, did you get to watch the MMA parting today?
I watched like the first 4 games or something.
All right. I mean, that's, yeah. So, did you get to see it, Kane or Destiny?
No, I don't watch TVPs at all, so I skipped out.
Gotcha.
Wow.
All right. So it was a match that MMA was at a disadvantage going into. He's done great. His run has been amazing. He's done really well. But parting was the stop, you know, that he would have to come to and probably not make it through. And he didn't. Parting is a guy that refuses to lose in TVP. And while the opposite is for MMA, who's had a very big problem with TVP lately. What were your thoughts on the matches? It went to 1-1 and then downhill from there. ZombieGrub.
So the one game that he won, right, was this mech push, and that was really cool and all. Parting just kind of looked like he didn't really know how to deal with it, is what I saw. I was kind of like skimming through it. But then the other games that I saw were like really easy. Like, I don't know what else there is to say about the match, because it was really just like Parting was so much better at this matchup than MMA. Parting was actually using a lot of the stuff that he showed in like the past like Olimu leagues and stuff that we've been casting of him. Mm-hmm. So like winning with only 3-gate blink stalker and just like no big deal, like that's what I do, 2 base 3 gateways, I can win this. And MMA was just like I tried 2 different things. He tried like a 3cc build, right? Like it was like really, really quick 3rd CC. That died to the 3-gate blink stalker. That's all Parting needed.
I can't even remember that map's name now.
Foxtrot.
There we go. Yeah, no, and that's the thing though, is that a lot of Parting's plays seem to be reactive. It wasn't necessarily he came into the game saying, I'm going to do this you know, cheese or whatever. It was
kind of, yeah.
I saw what you did, and this is how I'm going to go.
It's like he knew, like TVP isn't usually a big mystery, right? Like people kind of know what's going to happen.
Right.
The mech was the only big surprise, and that actually was the one that MMA won. But Parting just seemed to be like, I know what you're going to do. I know what variations that you can do as well, like a quick 3rd CC. And whatever I do, it's going to win.
Right.
So screw you.
Parting is an extremely smart player. I mean, obviously, all these players have very high level of intelligence when it comes to this game, but Parting is very quick calculating, like, I see this, and he's going to react in a very, very unique and sometimes very obviously powerful way for the way he did today with MMA. MMA, I feel, needs a little more preparation for an opponent. You know, he needs that time that GSL gives him to prepare, and Parting is someone that even with that preparation time, you're not going to be ready for. It was an exciting series to the first 2 rounds, and then after that, it was kind of just. I think MMA should have gone a little more standard throughout.
It just, I don't know. I called like the 3rd game on like Deadwing, and I don't think Parting did anything special.
Nope.
Like MMA was like, yeah, I held off 3-gate blink stalkers, which is not supposed to be that big of a deal, and then just got trucked anyways. Like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, what's the other one? Oh, and then the last game on, I think it was the last game on merry-go-round, going for that 2 racks. I didn't like it. Going 2 racks, the Marine push. Yeah, he got the cancel on the CC, but then the starport, or the Stargate.
Yeah, Stargate.
That was powerful. But anyway, so parting moves on. And I guess we'll see who he's going to face, but we have our 1 finalist so far. Let's talk about RedEye. We'll go with RedEye real quick. So RedEye has left ESL, or he's leaving ESL, right? He's now going to work for Gfinity. I think he was the broadcast manager or production manager or director of production.
Something like that.
Something like that. Something awesome position, right? But so Kane, I'm sure you've met RedEye, hung out with RedEye.
Yeah, actually at this past WCS round of 32, I hung out with him quite a bit, and we had some good chats. He didn't say anything about leaving or anything like that, as he probably shouldn't have. So good for him. He seemed like a really down-to-earth guy. He seemed like he knew what direction he wanted to go in, and I got the feeling that a lot of people around him really respected him. So I know it's sad to see him move on, but it's good to see that he's still going to be staying in StarCraft. And yeah, I think ESL is going to miss him quite a bit too. I don't know him that well. I know that he, like, whenever he was hosting and stuff like that, people always really, really liked him. And for that reason, I think a lot of people want to see him stay in StarCraft. But with the state of StarCraft, I don't know what the case is going to be. With that, he might move on to like Dota or something like that. I don't know, but I know he has a family. I know he has other things on his mind other than saving StarCraft. So we'll see.
Yeah, so he's actually going to be on the show next week, so we'll get a chance to talk to him and to hear a little bit about his opinion on what's going on. But I'm excited to see him move on. Do you think ZombieGrub, any idea who they're going to bring in? Do you think they're going to bring in a permanent replacement for him, or they're going to keep doing the cycle of different hosts?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. Like that, one of the big reasons is probably that they're just like, cutting the fat as it is. Like RedEye added so much, but he's still just at the end like a host, and technically anyone can cut to commercial, or ask questions. So I do wonder if there's going to use like a caster, like they have four casters at the studio at all times, something like that, and like 2 are supposed to break. Well, now one's going to just like, hey guys, welcome back. There's the games. Ask them a few questions. So I'd be really surprised if they hired a new full-time position host.
Yeah. Steven, you have any hosts that you like? Like anyone in particular you've enjoyed watching? I'm sure you have opinions about these people.
Actually, I'm not really too partial to anybody. I really like RedEye, like personally. Like I enjoyed talking to him on Filtered, and he seems like a really cool guy. But yeah, the hosts are never like a huge part of like any event that I watch. I guess it sounds kind of shitty to say. So I could see them probably going the same route what ZombieGrub said earlier, where they would just have like a rotating people or just random people to cut to commercials instead of like paying out like a full-time position again.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what we get and how these, maybe someone's going to come out. Real quick, I guess we'll use this moment before we go into DreamHack. Frodan is going to be hosting IEM. We'll talk more about that. A lot of people are having that.
IEM what?
Katowice? Katowice? Yeah, Vice.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's going to be hosting that, and there are a lot of people that are like, Frodan hasn't done anything StarCraft in a while. Why is he
Get the
getting
right friends. You just need the right friends. That's all you need, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a bad host, and
Wait, are we talking about this now? Or
I really? You know that?
he's going to be the panel host. Also, he's not going to be a caster. He's not going to be. All right, go ahead, ZombieGrub. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh well, I mean, I just wanted to know for like a. It's not like super controversial or anything.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I'm all about understanding that it's who you know, because it's not just about like oh, I'm their friend. It's that they technically know that you know how to like smile at the camera,
Right.
and cut to commercial. Like they are hiring people that they know can do a decent job, but it's really shitty that people who aren't sticking with StarCraft II are those people. Like they just come out of nowhere and they're like, "Hey, remember me?" And they're like, "Yeah, but you're the Hearthstone for a year. Like, what are you doing?" And they're like, "Well, I can do a decent enough job, right?" And everyone's like, "I guess," but like literally, I'm trying to think of other people who can do that are still in StarCraft 2, and that was RedEye.
I'm sorry if I'm being like full retard, but is IEM Katowice, is there Hearthstone there, or what is going on there?
Is there Hearthstone?
I don't
I
know.
don't think so. I actually don't know.
Google, foo. Yeah, no, but I agree with what you're saying. It kind of sucks when we don't see the people that are in StarCraft stick around.
Well,
or
it's like
get tapped
it's
for
hard
these
enough to have
positions.
any new people in StarCraft, like even casters, right? Like it's hard to break into that. But especially hosts and panel hosts, like no one, you don't just magically get experience without actually going to a live event. You know, it's like this endless like vicious cycle where they can't breed more StarCraft 2 hosts unless they invite like total newbies and take a chance on them, which I guess Gfinity is kind of doing, right?
Hmm.
With all of their casters and hosts that they picked out. Like you see those names and like Jursar and Puhi and like
Atreus even.
yeah, but well, yeah, like the players coming on, like they're attempting something new, but it's always going to be a danger. And for IEM, I can understand them not wanting to do that.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say, if anyone from ESL is watching, I'm a far better host on kind of broadcast than I am here. I actually have I work in that in my day job, so totally shit talk show host here. Great host on stage. Just email me, tweet. Okay. Anyway,
Now, Richard Lewis hosted a panel once for DreamHack, right?
That's
IEM, I
true.
thought, or maybe
Yeah.
it was
And
DreamHack. Yeah.
that was pretty positively
Received.
regarded, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Like, didn't people like him a lot?
But he also does
Now,
stuff in the StarCraft scene, not the way we do, but he does report on StarCraft and cover it a lot. So he's just kind of a general figure.
okay, yeah. Like the thing I always have a concern about is that these guys will have no perception of the players. They won't know anything about like the rivalries between the players. They won't know anything about the matches or about the metagame, which isn't that important. Like the metagame can be left up to the analysis or whatever.
Right.
But I like to see like a panel host know a lot about the players, about where they've been. Like I guarantee you, if you ask Frodan where has Kane been for the past year, he wouldn't know shit. Like he might know that I traveled some places, but he wouldn't know where I've been, who I don't like, who I do like. Like that's the kind of thing that I like to see out of panel hosts, and I just don't think that he'll have that experience. So for me, it's a really weird decision. I'd rather see somebody more into the scene.
Yeah. No, I can definitely understand that. But we'll see how this IEM goes. Maybe Frodan will knock our socks off, and everyone will be like, you know what? I'm glad he was there. It was good.
He
But
better do his research if he's going to do that. Then.
yeah, he did host WCS too, didn't he? One of the WCS America, or well, it was the combined ones, but he did.
No,
it.
wasn't that
Greetor.
They had a couple people: Frodan, Greetor,
yeah, Greetor
Smix.
Greetor came back to cast, but I don't know who's the third guy. He's like usually hosts. He was oh my god. Clutch.
Yeah,
Clutch
yeah.
hosted it.
Yep. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be going to do a bad job. I think it'll be fine. It'll just be a matter of.
I just think that it's going to be perfectly like neutral, like Richard Lewis was good. Tasteless like knocked people's socks off. He was so good. Frodo will just be some guy that like cuts a commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean that offensively. I just,
No,
like,
I get it.
Yeah. He just hasn't been in the scene.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on now. We're gonna talk about DreamHack. Everyone is salty about DreamHack dropping StarCraft II from a lot of its tour. Man, so we'll start with you, Kane. What are your thoughts, player?
Yeah, like I'm salty about it, but it makes perfect sense. Like I was at DreamHack Winter and DreamHack Winter especially, and up until like the semifinals or finals, there's nobody in the crowd. There's like 20 people or something like that, and we had we didn't have the main stage, I don't think, but it was pretty big, the stage, and there was just nobody watching. So it makes perfect sense from a business point of view.
Mm-hmm.
It's disappointing from a player's point of view, of course, because I find those events really enjoyable, and they're usually pretty well run. So I don't like to see that, but there's nothing else that I can say other than that it does make sense, and that I'm glad that they're at least having some StarCraft events.
Yeah.
But there's nothing more that I could have hoped for, really.
Okay.
From a practical point of view. So.
Right. So let's see. Which one did you say you went to for DreamHack? You've been to?
I went to Stockholm and Winter.
Stockholm and Winter. All right. I always thought summer and winter were two big StarCraft ones. At least I remember in 2013, the winter one was pretty huge. I mean, but again, that was 2013.
Yeah, and when it came to the finals, it was pretty big. Like there were a lot of people there,
Mm-hmm.
and it is like the finals for the year, right? It's
Right.
the finals for the StarCraft Championship. So you'd think that throughout the whole weekend there would be a lot of people there and stuff, but there was very, very few people in the crowd.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, that does suck. And I mean, what if they only did it online? They could still keep it around. would you still be interested in playing it, or if they did some of them online and then actually had the finals in person?
It's just not the same online. There's not the same hype.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same level of gameplay, I would hesitate to say, because people are a lot more comfortable taking risks and stuff like that. So
Right.
I don't know. I just wouldn't feel the same about it.
Yeah, and I know that StarCraft, a lot of this gets brought up. StarCraft's never had the same viewership as the other games. I'm sorry, past 2 years hasn't had the same viewership as these other games. But I didn't think it was that poor that they would have to drop it, or that they couldn't cost effectively keep the game on the tour. But I wonder if it would have been around still if Robert Rowland went out. ZombieGrub, do you think at all that this had anything to do with him being gone? Part of him going wasn't just the stuff that we learned, but also, they wanted to get StarCraft, and he might have give some pushback about that.
Probably. I really don't know him that well and how much he really is interested, but he sounded like he always really liked StarCraft and wanted it there, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, yeah, no.
It sounds kind of bad, but I'm pretty sure that when stuff like that happens, usually that's kind of, it seems like when businesses are taken over, or there's a change in ownership, or a change in CEO, or a board of directors get together and make a bunch of changes. It seems like that stuff is usually you have things where a company gets taken over something. There's a big reevaluation of all of your assets. Okay, well, now that we have new things, let's go ahead and analyze all of our assets, what makes sense, what doesn't. That's how IPL got tossed, right? When IGN's ownership changed, they looked at it and they're like, okay, well, this shit doesn't make any sense at all. We're dumping it, So whether or not Robert was pushing for StarCraft to say a DreamHack, the fact that as soon as management changed, shit is starting to change, I think speaks to the profitability of it. So I mean, it's not hugely surprising, and I don't even know if it was necessarily a good thing that it was propped up as long as it was by Robert. I mean, I don't know. It's just another way to look at it.
Okay. Now I can respect that opinion. I do wish that it would stick around, though. I'm not them. I'm not making those decisions about the board of directors. But if I could, lose a little money to keep StarCraft around, I'd have no problem doing it.
But when your obligation is to shareholders who want to make money,
right?
Why would they want you to keep something around that loses them money?
But that's the question: is how much is it losing? So obviously, someone.
It doesn't matter if it's losing anything. Your obligation as a CEO, as a business owner, your obligation number one is always to your shareholders, and your shareholders want to know that you're maximizing profit always. So the fact that you're keeping around a passion project using shareholder assets or money is not something that they would like, I think.
So I know we talked about this earlier about Red Bull, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're doing any events, and I was wondering, shower thoughts, right? Is it better to have more people at the event? Because that seems like DreamHack's problem. The online viewers are never going to be close to League of Legends or CS:GO or whatever. But it sounds like the live audience was actually just piss poor.
Right.
And that just that's more that looks worse than even if the numbers online are worse, right? No one's cheering in the crowd, and it's just sucky overall. But then if Red Bull's not doing anything either, they actually had really good crowds.
Mm-hmm.
So is it more people there at the live event is weighs more, or more people online weighs more?
Do you really think do you think the Red Bull live event crowds, do you think that paid for the event though? I guarantee
that's
you
that's what I'm wondering.
Those had to have been ran at a huge loss. There's no way.
Atlanta definitely. Atlanta definitely.
Yeah, I went to Red Bull Atlanta.
I would say DC too.
The amount of money that they must have spent to put those things on, especially, did they fly any of the players out, or was it just 100% open bracket? I don't remember.
If you qualified, you were flown out, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I don't know, just the cost of production and everything, even without flying people out, I seriously doubt any of those events made money. I would be really shocked to hear that. Somebody like Nathanias or Rotterdam might know more. I don't know if they're privy to talk about it. Or
when we talked to them at the event, some of the Red Bull staff said they knew they were doing it at a loss, and they didn't care. It was,
yeah, that's what I heard from them too. Yeah.
Yeah. So they knew they were going into it not going to make the money back. It was more just they were getting invested in the scene. And maybe maybe that's why we've been seeing a couple Dota events and Call of Duty events the past since Red Bull ended. We've seen those. And they've been online. They haven't been in person.
I wish I knew more about business at all, because it's a lot of that isn't going to be made back with Twitch commercials. That's definitely not what they're looking to sell when they do these big events. But they're looking to build everyone buys Red Bull because they're nice to StarCraft II kind of thing.
Right.
And I can almost guarantee that everyone who went to DC at least, 'cause that's the one I went to, right? Fucking loves Red Bull because it was an amazing live production. Like I buy Red Bull because actually I like it, but also if I didn't, I at least tried it because Red Bull did StarCraft 2, and I wish like I was better at business to know like how much they calculate that into, because then that goes back into just like the feeling of the event is better than like the online
Right.
presence, who does not really the crowd.
I think that this is a guess. I've never calculated, running online events versus in person, but I would think that the in person is what's important for when they have those kind of events. So when Red Bull does have the in person events, or DreamHack, they have the in person events. I think that the numbers there are what matter the most to them. It's those ticket sales that make the money, because Twitch ads don't pay a lot, though they do get paid more by their partners, right? So when they run their own ads for whatever hardware or something like that sponsors them, I imagine they get more from that. But I think that the in-person stuff, though, at the same time, I mean, here's where I wonder, right? We talk about DreamHack and we say, that someone came in and said, hey, this is a loss, we owe it to the shareholders and blah blah blah. But DreamHack is more than just esports. It's a big electronics festival. So I would just be curious to see how much, with everything else, StarCraft really drained DreamHack, aside from just prize money and shit like that. But anyway, so we'll wrap that up with the DreamHack talk. It's sad to see it go. Hopefully, maybe there's a change. Hopefully, Legacy of the Void, we see something exciting. And maybe that's the case. Maybe Legacy of the Void is going to be out near the end of the year, and they didn't want to announce anything. I don't know.
I do wonder if they're going to do, because like they're hosting like the Swedish championships or something, right? DreamHack.
I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a really small like StarCraft to the side on like winter or something. But I was wondering if they would save one of the ones that they dropped later on in the year for like a very small show match.
Yeah, that would be maybe something cool will come. I don't know. There's a lot of the year to go around. A lot of stuff to happen.
Like when Heart of the Swarm was released, did they have like this big beta party?
Yep.
Where they got like a Vibe and them to go up on stage. Like they could do that at the DreamHack.
That'd be
It's
cool.
possible. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's probably unlikely more than it's likely, but it would be cool.
We'll move into the Legacy of the Void beta with that. Nice segue. Actually, before we do that, two things. One is Riff_Kings. Is that Graham?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
He's always
Yeah,
been
I think so.
pastry.
Because I didn't want to mod him and him be a troll and give some
I think
random
so.
guy mod. But oh, and the other thing, yeah, Red Bull. If you go there, if you're like working the event or you're press or something like that, the amount of free Red Bull that I have consumed at those tournaments is absolutely insane. And I always end up getting drunk on Friday night, which is very dumb to do because I'm always up early the next day for the tournament to get there and set up. And I think that the good cure for it is going to be Red Bull, right? Like you're down, you feel crummy. So let's pound 2 Red Bulls and then continue on through the day. And it's absolutely horrible. You just start shaking all day and you feel god-awful. And by Sunday, you feel a little bit decent. But anyway, enough of that. Legacy of the Void beta. I think it's going to be out by April 1st, which would be funny if it came out April 1st because everyone would say, haha, April Fools, and no one would believe to check their accounts and see if the Legacy of the Void beta is going to be there. But I think the first, it sounds about right. So if that happens, Kane, do you think that WCS Season 3 would have Legacy of the Void? Because that's still a lot of time to come. That would be about 8 months, 6 months? 6 months.
I don't see it happening. I think that it's kind of unfair to pro players to just kind of switch like that in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They could, but I don't see it happening. I think they have to wait until next year to do it.
So you think it would be they're going to do full 2015
Yeah.
Heart of the Swarm and then
Because what I think will happen is if they switch to Legacy of the Void, then BlizzCon would have to also be Legacy of the Void, right? They couldn't just switch back to Heart of the Swarm. So I excuse me, and I don't think that people want to watch. Maybe they do want to watch it, but I don't think that it'd be good gameplay or anything like that to see a BlizzCon that's run on Legacy of the Void. So I don't see it happening. I don't think it's a good idea from a pro player's perspective.
From a pro player's perspective, it's not, but I would actually be really surprised
Yeah.
if BlizzCon was advertising Heroes of the Heart of the Swarm. I would be really surprised to see BlizzCon using Heart of the Swarm for their tournament instead of Legacy of the Void, their new game that they could actually push sales on. I would be really shocked if Blizzard didn't move to Legacy of the Void as soon as it was fucking possible. Because you want to push as many copies of that game out as possible, and to have your pro scene playing on Heart of the Swarm when they're trying to sell Legacy of the Void.
So
Yeah.
when
and it,
BlizzCon is essentially a giant advertisement for Blizzard anyway. I don't. I would be surprised.
um, in addition to that, like in 4 months, you'd be surprised at how tired people are going to be a part of the Swarm.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be pushing Legacy of the Void show matches and even tournaments at some point. And then 4 months, 5 months down the road, when they're like, by the way, Heart of the Swarm, it never worked out. Like when Heart of the Swarm was being pushed, Wings of Liberty was also getting pushed out. Partially because it had a terrible meta at the time, right? Like Greedlord Infestor, but also it's just like the older game. Like no one was interested in it. So I would be really surprised if they showed Heart of the Swarm at this con.
Yeah. The first month that the first full month after, so if it comes out like right before April, the entirety of April is going to be Legacy of the Void for Lycan League.
Yep.
So
Not to mention that no, but like ZombieGrub said, that's actually a really good point. People are not going to want to see fucking anything to do with Heart of the Swarm as soon as Legacy of the Void hits. Do you remember how little, like, nobody gave a fuck about Wings of Liberty when that Heart of the Swarm beta came out? Like, it was all fucking Heart of the Swarm, and it's gonna be the same with Legacy of the Void launches. Nobody's gonna give a fuck about Heart of the Swarm. Like, there might still be some like legacy tournaments or whatever that are finishing up like using Heart of the Swarm, but like as soon as like new shit starts, like new Premier League or new anything, I think that people are gonna jump on the Legacy of the Void train as quickly as possible because people are gonna be like burnt out of Heart of the Swarm super fast once that beta launches, I think.
right. I think that so here's a thought though, is they said, looking at the other times, the other games I think took 5 and 6 months to come out, right? The Wings of Liberty beta was 5 months, and I think Heart of the Swarm was 6 months. And they said that this is going to be a longer beta. So with those numbers, I think since there's no WoW expansion to come out this year, they might release in November. That's a speculation. It kind of goes against what you're thinking, but I was thinking maybe since there's no other release for November, that's when they might be doing it. Though again, they also did say Overwatch is more done than we realized. So maybe this summer they're going to announce
I knew it.
release date for that. So I guess we'll see. And I also don't know how close together they would release Overwatch and Legacy of the Void. So there's a lot to think about with that, and what we're going to see. But maybe Legacy of the Void will be the winter release, and spring will be Overwatch. We'll see.
I mean, all this considered, I wouldn't be surprised either that Blizzard, just because Blizzard, it would be the better choice in my opinion if I was the business person in charge of Blizzard to put Legacy of the Void in BlizzCon. But I guess I wouldn't be surprised either if they did it and it was actually a lot more lame because of it. Like 6 months down the road, when BlizzCon's Heart of Swarm, I'm probably gonna be disappointed. Then I'll be like, well, I guess that's gonna happen, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. All right. We are now. I think that covers the Legacy of the Void beta, right? With that, since we were talking about the Lycan League, I'm gonna go ahead and plug myself real quick. That's the link to the Lycan League. It's open to anyone to sign up. If you want to sign up for that stuff, go ahead. It's a $125 prize pool for each weekly, and then you qualify for a $200 monthly final if you make enough points. Everyone at the round of 32 gets like a point, so from there on you get points. If you participate in 2, you make it to the round of 8, you're probably going to qualify. 16 slots for that. So anyway, check that out. Fall 2015 Overwatch beta. They made the announcement for that? Well, I'm looking at chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
full.
Okay, then Legacy of the Void, maybe in November. We'll see what that brings. With that, we're going to move to some of the changes that were announced today. So today, Blizzard released a buttload of news for WCS qualifiers, their schedule, and they announced a new Premier Pick system for Season 2. So let me get the this and move it. So Premier Pick system, Kane, you were looking at that, right? All right, you want to give the viewers a little rundown of what the Premier Pick is going to be?
Yeah, so it's pretty much like Premier League players will get to pick their opponents for Challenger League. I think it's how it works, and it's based on how well the Premier players, like the order in which they get to pick their opponents. I'll read here, is based on the order placements in the previous season, WCS points, and then yeah, it'll be determined by a random draw if those two are tied. So pretty much like the round of 8 players will get to pick their opponents before the round of 16, etc., etc., etc. So I think that it's I don't think that it's good, because I think that what'll happen is that the new up and coming players will get absolutely stomped. Like, I guarantee you 4GG is not going to pick some like really really strong up and coming player. You know, like if Stardust qualifies for next season, for example, 4GC's not going to pick Stardust for an opponent. He's going to pick somebody a lot weaker, somebody who's new to the scene, and that person is probably going to get absolutely stomped. So I think that it doesn't introduce any opportunities for like new, interesting up and coming players to show what they're made of.
Right.
I think it's kind of like an old boys club in that respect. I think we're just going to see like the same players in Premier over and over and over now.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good for me because since I'm doing pretty decently in WCS this season, I'll get to choose my opponent, and I guarantee you I'm going to choose somebody who I think I can easily beat. So
Yep.
it's good from a Premier player's perspective, but bad for everybody else, including spectators, I would say. Spectators and fans.
Steven, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent to WCS stuff at this point. I don't really have a strong opinion one way or another.
All right. Well, so I guess from my end, I don't like it. I don't. And you know, I champion Blizzard on a lot of things, but I don't like the sound of the system because it sounds like it's going to put the favor. They're talking about creating rivalries, like someone's going to pick their rival. No, if someone has a pain in the ass time beating, if Tasia has a pain in the ass time beating 4GG and TVT, Tasia is not picking 4GG. He's picking the little challenger scrub that, you know, random ladder hero number 22, and that kid's going to get knocked out. And it kind of goes along. Go ahead. ZombieGrub?
So I brought up GSL, right, and it's a little different, but I think that they're thinking it's going to work because that's actually what happens in GSL. Like we have groups of death that are actually chosen by people that you wouldn't think so. You think that they would choose no-name guy that came up from compete. Well, there's hardly any no-names in GSL, right?
Right.
But still, like someone different. But we actually do have innovation picking parting or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're like. They're actually like they're buddies. They're interested in fighting each other. They think it's going to be interesting, and I think that's what they're hoping is going to happen in WCS. But I don't think the community is tight knit enough to do that. You might have Hearthstone pick Bunny or something like that because they talked about it beforehand and like, they thought it might be fun or some shit. But I kind of agree with the Kane. It's gonna it's not going to work out as fun as it is in GSL.
This is your career on the line. Why are you going to take the risk? If there are people to pick out that aren't as good as you, why would you pick anyone else? Kind of thing. And another point from it that I didn't really like. One second, I screwed up and I have my thing. All right. So another thing I didn't like about it is that. They say that if both the placement and WCS points are equal between groups of players, the ranking will be determined by random draw. And I don't like that. Why? All right, so let's see these people are tied. Again, they're probably not going to choose that other person, so it's not that if you get put at the mercy of a random draw and you don't get selected to be one of these little seeds or whatever, it's not that you have to worry about someone else picking you. It's that you don't get the chance to choose, the other opponent. But I don't like that there's so much human interaction with that, that it's not left to stats. I guess an analogy being if this is high school, right, and you have two people tie for valedictorian, and all the way back through high school they're tied through everything. They don't just randomly choose out of a hat, hey, you're going to be valedictorian and get the benefits of being valedictorian. You get to be salutatorian. It is okay. Well, now we're going to go back to your junior high grades and see how you did there, and if that will go to your elementary school, things like that. I don't like beneficial positions in a tournament being selected at random except for a draw and okay, I got a good group or a bad group. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Silence is compliance. Let's
yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees.
God.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think that's one good thing though is they did release all the dates for WCS. So they released them ahead. We got the qualifier dates, which are really never really not released in a decent time, but they gave the dates for Challenger and Premier League. Groups A through D are going to go May 16th and 17th, 23rd and 24th in Burbank, California. Groups E through H will be May 28th and 31st in Cologne, Germany. So we have those dates. That is the round of 32, so we don't have the round of 16 up, but hey, that's not going to be a long time. That's going to be one weekend. So anyway, moving on, we're going to now touch on a bigger topic. At least I think it is. It's the one I've been kind of excited to talk about. Is the WCS points and the SSL, right? So where we're coming from with this is that if you look at the WCS points changes from Blizzard comes out, right? And we all have cried, Blizzard, region lock the area. We're tired of Koreans kicking everyone's butts. Let's get out of here. And Blizzard comes in and says, hey, you know what? You're absolutely right. Kim Fan was interviewed by Carmack, and she said to Carmack, we have all these foreign players. We want to see them thrive. We want to see them do well because they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of skill. But the Koreans playing in WCS Europe and North America, they're crushing them down. We don't really get to see them, right? So they region lock, right? Which is great. However, I don't believe that they included the WCS in this change when they're talking about, foreigners getting a chance to actually succeed in WCS. One thing they didn't take into consideration, or they did, and this was calculated, was BlizzCon. Now, if we take a look at the WCS point standings right now, we see a huge disparity for foreigners. And I'm going to have to move the screen view because it's not capturing the names of the people. All right. So, as you see, this is the WCS point standings, right? Now, the first column right here, these are the WCS points. Obviously, none of the Koreans have those except the couple that are in Europe, North America. Here's the GSL points. Here's the SSL points, and then you have the rest of the stuff. Now, taking out GSL qualifier, and if you take out the round that they are ahead of us, with these SSL points, they're still extremely ahead. So that's kind of where we're coming from here. It creates a huge disparity, and we're not going to see foreigners have a good chance. Snoot is so far the closest, and he's, I think, in 24th place. Yeah, either way, he was as of last week. So whatever's happening this week doesn't matter. As of last week, he was still 200 points away from the round of top 16 for it. So anyway, with that, Kane, as a player, knowing that there's an entire huge pool that we don't have access to as foreigners, we as in the pro gamers, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that BlizzCon should be an equal representation of both sections of WCS, or do you see this as preferential treatment for Koreans because it's just assumed, because it's very true, that Koreans overall are just better? What are your thoughts on SSL?
Just let me get this straight before I answer. So the whole issue here is that the Koreans have GSL and SSL, right? And without SSL, it's pretty much like the foreigners have. It's just one big tournament, right? But now the Koreans have two big tournaments. That's the issue here.
Yeah, the issue is that they have the two big tournaments that give them a huge point advantage for qualifying for the BlizzCon finals.
Yeah, double
Right, but the point distribution is equal for like GSL and WCS, America and Europe, right?
Yes.
Okay, but there's just that additional tournaments in there that kind of tilted in their favor, is what we're saying, or it's what you're saying rather.
Yeah.
Okay. So
real quick, to stave off what I think a lot of people
Can foreigners go and compete in the SSL?
Or
is that region locked to Korea?
Let me check.
I actually don't know, but before, Kane, you go into what you're going to say, I want to say to everyone else that to clarify exactly what this is about, it's not about free wins or free positions or charity for foreign scene. It's, what was the point of region locking if you're going to go ahead and give them more points so they can still dominate WCS?
So somebody said in chat, this is a really easy one. If the SSL is open for foreigners to compete in, then it's totally fine.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
The problem is that the qualifiers are held offline. We did have Scarlet and Top. Scarlet and Jim, and they were they're global seeds for the challenger of SSL.
All right, but that still sounds like an extremely, especially with the times and the places. I mean, to go to Korea back and forth, because this is all played in person. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's no question that it definitely favors Koreans. But whether that's unfair or not is another question. I think that there's no question that Koreans are better players. I think that it really comes down to what people want to see at BlizzCon. I think that it is. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. It is unfair, but I think that it's kind of what people want to see in terms of the best possible play at BlizzCon, if that is what people want to see. Because the fact that they have an extra tournament where they're getting more points and stuff like that, it does favor them. I don't think there's a question about that. It's just whether it's fair or not, right?
Right. ZombieGrub, you have a thought on that?
I don't want to talk because I'm not a pro player, right? And I feel kind of like no matter what I say, it's gonna be mean or like biased or whatever. But I really do. I think the Koreans actually do like need it more. Like they deserve it more. There's like that like I also was on board kind of like the pro leagues. If they could have found a system of awarding points for pro league, they should have done that. Since so few Koreans were getting like they kind of flip flop the problem, right? It needs to be a problem like not enough people are getting points for Koreans in Korea. And that's why they moved over to the Americas and the Europe. And that's they're trying to like fix that by making it region locked and awarding more points so more people would want to go back to Korea and not get visas to stay in America. Like
Hmm.
they're trying to fix a bunch of problems, right? And I'm just so actually just shocked this hasn't been brought up before. Like I don't know how you noticed it and like no one else is like Remax didn't talk about it, right? Like I haven't seen any complaints on Reddit or anything. So
Man, look at me
are people just
breaking
complacent, or they just have
stories.
no idea that this is happening?
I don't know. I noticed it because I wanted to see where the WCS points for standings were, and I realized that the top of that WCS point bracket right now is Life with 2,650, and the next closest foreigner is Newt at place now 25 with only 600 points. In the top 16 now has 800. Yes, I did take into consideration, chat, that they are a little further ahead. But taking out that they're further ahead and taking out the SSL points, you completely change. We would have two foreigners. Well, as of last week, if you take out how far advanced they are in GSL, you take out the GSL qualifiers for next season, and if you take out the SSL points, we would have had two foreigners in the top 16, and then we would have 13 foreigners that were within 100 points of the top 16. I think that the BlizzCon finals, I'm glad that there's a little bit of disagreement on this because I almost always agree with my guests. But I think the BlizzCon finals should have an equal representation. Fuck it. If you don't want to give it 6, you don't want to make it 8 and 8, fine, cool. I'm down with that. Make it 10 and 6. But I think that I would be excited if you had a round of 16 bracket and it was foreigner Korean, foreigner Korean, foreigner Korean, foreigner Korean. And that is what we were going to see. And you know what? If it's a Korean final, or I'm not saying necessarily seed it that way, I'm just saying if it was Koreans and foreigners going head to head, that would be exciting for me because then we're watching these foreigners go head to head with the best in the world.
But only some foreigners can really excite people against Koreans. I guess like real talk here. Like Kane might be able to. Like we cast him before and he did like a pretty decent job against some Koreans. But then there's like some other foreigners that really just might get completely stomped, and to like automatically give them that seed because good job you made it like in that league over there is just it might decrease the hype. It might increase it. People might be willing to watch it more because they're foreigners. I was never on the foreigner hype, to be honest. I'm all about the Koreans, so I'm pretty biased on this one. But I really think that they might be like saying like, oh, we want to be nice to foreigners and give them a chance. But what they're really saying is like asterisk like not at BlizzCon.
And that's
like BlizzCon is all the best ever that ever have been. They get to go there.
and that's what it seems
Yeah,
like.
I agree. I think that foreigners should be given a chance, and I think that the more you see them play, the better. But that's the point of region locking. Like that has to stop at some point. Like because like you could follow this argument to like its absurd extremes and be like, how much fucking hype would there be if it was a foreigner versus Korean finals at BlizzCon? So maybe we should just seed a foreigner all the way to the fucking finals. Like I think that seeding foreigners into the round of 16 at BlizzCon.
I'm not saying seed them. I'm just saying that this 6 slots are for WCS Europe North America amalgamation, and then 10 slots are for the top, the top Korean region WCS point holders.
What is that if it's not seeding?
That's just allotting slots. It's kind of like I don't know, like the NBA, like the what do you call it? Damn, the March Madness. I don't follow basketball, but do you have like 4 different regions or conferences or whatever, and they're all going to play to choose who goes and plays in that round of 32. I'm going to sneeze.
I mean, that kind of sounds like, I don't know, kind of like, okay, well, you guys, we're going to keep 6 slots here. I mean, like, for all the other WCS related stuff in terms of like the regions or whatever, I'm all for region locking. I think it's really fucking dumb when the top 8 like North American people are all Korean. That's fucking retarded. Or the top 8 like Europeans are all fucking Koreans. Like that's fucking retarded. But in terms of like BlizzCon finals and shit, I mean, at that point, like you're done seeding at that point. And I'm someone that's always sided with foreigners over stuff like this because I always thought that foreigners were better in terms of entertainment value and in terms of keeping the game alive and shit. When you start to get to like BlizzCon finals like tier shit, like that should just be raw points. Like at that point, like fuck, like you like there's been enough like propping up of the foreign scene and enough like okay, well you know you guys have region locks and blah this and this and this. Like if at that point, by the time you have BlizzCon now, it's too arbitrary at that point to say like, oh well we should see people into the round of 16 or you get 6 slots because you're foreigners. Like I think that's it's fucking BlizzCon. Like
So
I don't want a better Korean to not get in because some foreigner gets a seed. Like that's kind of silly. I think.
But I think the alternative problem is that it just sounds impossible for any deserving European to get in. I'm thinking of Snoot right now. Snoot's the closest, right? And he's still the one that everyone's going to herald as, you know, the Korean killer.
Why
But
is
not
it impossible for him
literally-
to get in though?
Because there's double the amount of chances for Koreans. Like
Why
they
are there
literally
double the amount of chances?
because they have the SSL.
they have 2 leagues
Wait,
where they can literally
Can Snoot not travel to Korea and play in the SSL?
technically he can, but you know, well,
It's
okay,
absolutely insane.
legally he can, but technically I'm pretty sure he can't.
Especially with WCS, he would, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the big issue too.
Is it?
I-
Do you have to? Do you? Okay, I'm sorry. Do you have to actually be like physically in Korea to play in the
It's a
SSL?
broadcasted
Yes.
thing, just like
Yes.
GSL.
So okay, imagine if
Well,
imagine
that's
if there's
bullshit
like
then. I don't know. Fuck.
That's
So,
the big problem is that like there are deserving like foreigners. There's got to be, right, and we're trying to get to the point where there are more and more deserving foreigners, but they literally do not have as many chances now.
Okay, so backing up a second. Fuck, I remember reading these rules a long time ago. I thought that you weren't allowed to have events like that. Weren't there restrictions on what events can give like WCS points? Aren't they not allowed to be like super region like that or?
This was created with Blizzard and Kespa or whatever. I don't know whoever runs it. Maybe it's not Kespa. Either way, this was created when they did the region locking. Like this was part of the announcement.
Do Koreans in Korea, like Koreans, not the European Koreans, do those guys ever travel to like DreamHack and shit to win points?
Yeah,
Or-
so that's the other thing is that if you look at the top players in the current standings, there are 3 IEMs, and the majority of those WCS points from the 3 IEMs are given to Koreans, and that's a place that I have no problem. Don't region lock the qualifiers. Don't region lock the open
and
bracket.
those are given to Koreans, right? Not the European Koreans, right?
What?
Do you know what I'm saying? Are those given to Koreans that are living and competing in like the Korean GSL shit, or are the Koreans winning the ones that like move to Europe or whatever and live in Europe? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
For the IEM points and the DreamHack points?
yeah.
Yeah, those are given to any Koreans, like all Koreans.
Okay, so if they're like the argument then I guess for that side is if those guys can fly from Korea to go compete like in the IEMs and shit.
That's a little different than this that
It's
runs.
totally different. It's 1 weekend, 3 days, or 4 or 5, I don't know how long they say, compared to flying out, winning 1 match, and then coming back 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, going out, and then they win that match too because they're good or something. Then they fly out, then they go back. Like that's got to be a lot of money.
it'd be logistically impossible. I
Yeah.
think is what we're trying to get at.
There's a lot of overlap too with WCS.
That too. I mean, like you'd be running into their IEM participation and their WCS participation back at home, where the Koreans literally just like they drive from tournament to tournament. That's 2 tournaments with the same amount of points, and then they also get weekend-based tournaments.
So that's where the biggest disparity is in that SSL. Koreans are still going to go dominate IEM and DreamHack, the few that are left, and these other open tournaments that end up doing the offering of WCS points. But the SSL is creating it's like a double dip for WCS. And if you look at the top players right now, Life, Hero, Maru, Parting didn't do well in that. Dream and Rogue. Those are the top 6 people in WCS point standings right now, and they have a huge amount. Life has 900 from GSL and 900 from SSL this season so far.
You know, I don't know. Maybe they were expecting the same Koreans wouldn't make it that far in each
That's
tournament.
kind of fucking bullshit, I guess.
Like, yeah, but they must be expecting like Life to have not gotten into both round of 4s, right? Like how like it was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be 2 tournaments that allowed for the greater access to the more good players in Korea, right? There's just like a bigger like quantity of them. but what happened is that it's still pretty top heavy. Like the same good players are getting into both tournaments. If they had made it a league where you couldn't be in both GSL and SSL at the same time, then that might have made
Yeah.
sense. Then you would be catering to all these like really good Koreans who never get the spotlight. But you wouldn't be totally just like screwing over anyone's chances of going to BlizzCon and the foreigners.
Like maybe hold it after, you don't qualify for Code S, will go compete in the SSL, or you don't get Code S up to a certain round, then they
Yeah.
hold the SSL, like stagger it so that you get to go compete in that. So yeah, that's that. I think that should be reconsidered. I personally believe that the BlizzCon finals. I'm not talking about foreigner charity. I just think the BlizzCon finals should be all regions coming together. The best of each region comes together to fight, not
That's
the best
like
of the world.
isn't that like their I don't know what they say is
Goal?
supposed to happen? Yeah, I was thinking of like a business proposal or whatever, like at the bottom of sites. Anyways, but like yeah, the goal was to, like bring all together the
Yeah.
countries. But that's
Yeah.
why I was like,
Like,
I'm pretty
people-
sure they say that, but they really don't think it's ever gonna happen.
If people are willing to travel to like other events to get more points, like I think that those people deserve to like kick other people out of WCS. But I guess with the situation that it sounds like with the double dipping and the scheduling shit going on with the SSL, I guess that's kind of fucking stupid. Because if you were to set up something similar, if you were to move the SSL from Korea and set up something similar in North America, you would wind up with the same situation where a disproportionate amount of North American players are getting a fuck ton of points. Even though Korea does have the better players, like you kind of reinforce that even harder. Like there's like I guess you're running against like you're pulling in like two completely different directions. Like okay, we want to region lock it, I guess, to make it so that foreigners can finally start to grow and get better. But we're also going to give Korean twice as many chances to win points so that foreigners get fucked. I don't know. It seems like there's like
Yeah.
two completely different trains of thought there. Like
I
one side is coming from like all the people like I guess like my side or anybody that like wants to see foreigners do well, like that whole side, and then the other side is like Thorin's idea. We're like, well, fuck everyone else. Like Koreans are the best anyway, so let's give them two tournaments so they always get all the WCS shit. Like that seems kind of weird.
I think there might be some like there's probably business behind all this, right?
I wonder. Yeah.
WCS Blizzard does not want to say SSL. Sorry, we have GSL already. Like, go away. Like, no, they're not going to do that. But SSL might be saying, look, we aren't going to do it unless you give us equal amount of points because we're not going to let GSL be the big boss. And of course, GSL is not willing to give it up because GSL is honestly, I think it's getting out like production, but they're still like people that everyone recognizes. So they're not giving up their points either. So Blizzard's just like, hope no one notices, gave them the same points. And so far that's kind of worked. We're like the first ones to bring up that they get two equally sized tournaments.
Right. No, I very much agree with that. Give me 1 second. I'm just setting up the board. We're going to move into IEM discussion. We're going to talk about what's going on there and how we think they're going to do. We're not going to go through every single match. We're just going to go one by one. And actually, that's already set up. So cool. Let's jump into that right now. So here are the standings right now. And here are the groups. It's going to be Hero versus Cure, Baby Young versus Solar, Zest Hydra, Innovation Life, Flash Trap, Fantasy Rain, Maru, Patience, Dark Tasia. I don't know about you, ZombieGrub, but I love me some Flash. Are you pulling for him or who you hoping for?
Yeah, I'm trying to see it. Let me go to the brackets. Actually, I don't. Here are the brackets. All right. So you're asking me who I like want to pull for, who I'm cheering for in this tournament? All the Terrans. Seriously, there's like all good Terrans here. I really would like to see Fantasy do well. Everyone's gonna be cheering for Flash. That's cool. I think Innovation honestly might win, looking at that. But Fantasy has always been like that guy that just been waiting to show his true skill, his Brood War skill or something like that, and he's finally gonna get the chance, I guess.
Kane, what do you think?
I think the Zergs are gonna get stomped. Look at the matchups. Okay, so you have Byung versus Solar, okay?
Yep.
And Solar's been playing like really, really shoddy recently, so I don't think that he's gonna go very far.
Mhm.
Even though I like him a lot. We have Zest versus Hydra. Hydra's been living in fucking North America, practicing against
Well, he's out.
Europeans,
Fuck it.
and it's fucking Zest, okay? And then Innovation versus Life. Honestly, I don't think that Life can beat Innovation. Is this best of 3 to start off with?
Best of
Or
5.
best of 5? Okay, so Life has a chance there. Even though he did get beaten by Innovation, but I think Life has a chance. And then Dark versus Taja. Dark has a chance, but then next round he goes up against Maru. Okay, so I think that the Zergs. I'm probably gonna stop watching after the round of 8. Like
Dark.
that's yeah. I think
Wait, what do you think?
I,
Why do you think Life's gonna win against Innovation?
I think that he has a chance. I don't think that
Or
it's
not
like a
gonna win?
guaranteed. Life. I think it's like 50-50 there. I don't
Okay.
know,
Okay.
but then I think that yeah, I probably won't watch the rest of the tournament. I'll just watch the Zergs lose and then hope for a patch or something.
I wouldn't like. I'd actually like. Yeah, Life Innovation get 50-50 too. But Hydra versus Zest. Yeah, Hydra's been on the North American server, and okay. But Zest hasn't been really playing that well either, right? Didn't he just get knocked out, or is that someone else? That Stats? No, that was Zest. Zest is the guy that the modeling picks, right?
Yeah.
No one else has seen those. Come on. Okay, thank you, Kane.
I see them.
Yeah, Zest. He got knocked out of GSL. He just really isn't looking that good in the classic. So, I don't know. I guess I would be surprised if Zest didn't take it, but not totally surprised.
Right.
I think I angered chat. I think they're really mad at my predictions.
About well, you said
Life.
innovation in life. They were very upset about that comment.
Yeah, Life is gonna get stomped. Watch.
But
Life-
Life's beaten him twice, hasn't he? Recently.
Just once, I think. Oh, did he beat him in Pro League too?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was like GSL and SSL. Well, actually,
No,
I don't remember.
SSL Life lost to Dream.
Oh, okay.
Or no, what's that? No, was that GSL? That might have been GSL.
GSL Life lost to Innovation. I mean, won against Innovation. Damn it.
Okay.
It's all
Yeah,
confusing.
but Life is gonna get absolutely stomped. Just wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, keep talking for one. I'm looking at Lycan, and looking at Tasia Dark. Dark was on a mean streak in GSL against Terran. He did very well. He beat MMA had to come back and beat him a second time. Dark almost knocked him out. But it looks like, according to a Lycan, that Tasia's going to be favored for that round. And
Wasn't it Lilac all like 3-2s or something? 3-1s?
For who?
Someone did the predictions with entirely like a Lilac for this tournament, and it was all 3-1.
Yeah,
Like every single
I've,
match.
I've never actually looked like too much at the predictions. I saw that, but I've never done it before, so I don't know how accurate these have ever been. It's saying actually Tasia's not favored in a best of 3. It says Dark's going to be, and that's from the play I was seeing out of Dark in GSL. It's probably going to be that way, but I'm a Tasia fanboy. I literally have a pair of airbrush shoes that are themed after Tasia. So
Wow.
I really hope that he. You never saw them? The Protoss Stompers is what I call them.
No.
Yeah, it's a pair of Air Force Ones, like with Terran logos and stuff spray painted on them. All right, so anyway, IEM, I want to see Flash do well. Flash hasn't been on point. I think Flash is off his game. We saw him exceed very well IEM last year. I don't think we're going to see that again. That's really the only other thought I have about that.
Yeah.
I want him to. He's playing Trap. I don't know how Trap's been doing lately.
So, Trap has always had a pretty much amazing PvT in my opinion. He has a pretty fun style with like he uses warp prisms and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, but people are saying that Flash is playing really well in practice. Like, and his pro league absolutely sucked. I can't believe how much he sucked, and thank God he wasn't on my like fantasy pro league. But he won his recent pro league match. He's not like totally out of form, and Life says he was the best Terran in the world. So I don't know.
Someone just brought up my body pillow. I might have to go get it.
Don't bring the fucking body.
So, all right, no shit, right? I actually, okay, so Rift King, all right, /mod Rift King.
Wait, I don't know if that's the actual one.
Yeah, we still don't know.
I wouldn't risk it.
All right.
But you can mod me.
What's your name?
ZombieGrub. The champion chance. That's it.
Bam.
Yeah.
Dank
Bam.
mod. Look at that. All right. So so I was reading, and apparently, body pillows are really good for people who like to sleep on their side.
Sure.
So one night last week, I actually slept with my body pillow, and I felt shame.
Yeah. It's
But
also
it-
good for people that cry at night.
But it felt good. Like, and I don't mean like it felt good in the twisted way that chat's gonna now tweak it. I mean, it was like my back hurts when I sleep on my side, so I've had to give that up for the last 2 years. And then the body pillow, it was comfortable. And then Kamika Chan's actually very silky, right? It's not like a normal pillow cover. It's actually like a silk kind of cover. So felt good, man. You know. And with that,
Jesus Christ.
with that, all right. So we've talked WCS points. We've talked a bit about IEM, Legacy of the Void, GSL, ladder changes. We're coming up on the end of the show. I don't think we have much more. There are a couple things, personal agenda, that I want to talk about real quick while we have people before we go to the next segment of the show. The first is everyone knows Fear Dragon, right? Fear Dragon, awesome guy, does a lot for the community. His awesome series Breaking Out is coming out on Friday and Saturday, right? I'm trying to see. It starts on Friday, and his chat is twitch.tv/FearDragon64. Go follow if you want to see it. But Breaking Out is where he takes North American players and he highlights them. It's an interview series where he says, hey, you know, where are you from? What do you do? What's your journey, right? Let's get to know you. So this weekend starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time, right? And he's going to have Red Blood's Pili Pili on Friday and Boreal Esports EJK on Saturday. I really like EJK. I don't really know Pili Pili, but I know EJK does a lot of good content. You see a lot of his really crazy engagements on Reddit that he posts the gifs of. Some situations that I don't know how he ends up in. But either way, so check that out. That's Fear Dragon 64 again on Twitch, and that's going to be Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. One other thing is one of my followers, let me find him, is doing a charity thing in Florida, and I want to give that a shout out. And if you guys are in that area, let me see where it is again. It's a bring your own computer event, and here is the Facebook page. I'm gonna link it for you guys, and then there's also, I believe, a Google Doc to sign up for it. But it's a charity gaming tournament in Florida. I think it's Orlando. Let me see. Yep, it is Orlando. So yeah, if you're in that area or you don't mind driving a little bit, definitely go check that out. It's pretty awesome that they're any kind of event where they get gaming involved for charity is pretty fun. So yeah, check that out. Give it a look-see and support them. If you can't go, you know someone in that area, go ahead and share it and all that. Let's see. Oh yeah, hey, no problem, dude.
Okay. Thanks.
You're later. Okay, so with that, I think we're coming to the end of the show. So we'll go ahead and take questions. Now, per usual, I have not fielded the questions. So forgive me if I stop reading in the middle because I realize it's a troll question. All right, so Steven, I like this question. It's pretty decent. While I fix the screen regions, why did you pick your race? Why Zerg?
I just literally started playing it a lot during Brood War, and I mean that's it. There's not that like most StarCraft pros, like that's the story. A lot of people expect like really exciting answers, but it's literally just that was the race that I played a lot in Brood War, and I just kind of chose it randomly. There wasn't like a reason why I was drawn to Zerg or anything.
So I didn't play Brood War until like a year ago. So what? I mean, did you have no option to play any other race?
No, you could. I played a few, but I just played Zerg the most, and I just kind of stuck with it, and then yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. What I mean is like I meant in campaign, like.
Oh no, in campaign you play all three.
Okay.
I played all three. Or wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the campaign there were 3 races per campaign. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about you, ZombieGrub?
Well, I originally played Zerg, and around the Broodlord and Festia era, I decided that Terran would be more fun and have like more options, and I was wrong, and I regret it ever since. No, I'm just kidding. I just ended up liking Terran.
So now that we have you here, actually, can you tell us why, as a woman, are you compelled to play Zerg? Because it seems like every single girl StarCraft player, have you noticed that? Livy,
Yeah, I know, I've noticed it.
Fucking
It's
Scarlet,
like, it's a thing.
Caitlyn.
I don't know why originally because I actually originally played Terran when I was like playing like nothing but teams and shit. But for Zerg, I guess I just liked how fast it felt. Like that's still why I like Zerg at all, is because like I feel like a total badass with like total IAPM, right? But I don't know. I think it's because I have. No, actually, I'm not gonna say it because everyone's gonna start making fun of me in chat. So never mind.
You can't leave us there.
Damn it. Okay, fine. But it like I actually like I've always really liked hermit crabs. So they're kind of like Zergy, and they're kind of cool. So I think I just liked how cool Zerg was.
Well, what Zerg unit reminds you of hermit crabs?
What Zerg unit?
Yeah.
I actually like roaches. Because roaches don't look anything like real life roaches, but they're like they crawl and they have like a little like very hard body. Not that hermit crabs have like spikes coming out of their back or anything.
All right. Hey, I like that. I chose Terran because it was when StarCraft was introduced to me. I came in Heart of the Swarm, beginning of Heart of the Swarm, and I just started with Terran. It was like when I think StarCraft, I think of Space Marines, and I kept with it because it was the only race I had learned. But I didn't love Terran until I started watching Tasia play, and that's when I kind of was like, all right, I fucking dig Terran. And so there's no real cool story with me than that. I stuck with it because I had started with it, and then I stuck with it because Tasia was awesome. It is awesome. Tasia's still awesome. He's just now in Korea again.
Oh, I also really liked Idra. That's right.
Yeah?
That's what it was.
Okay,
Yep.
so what did you like about Idra? Was it Idra's personality or was it his
idea.
play? Why did you like
I
Idra?
honestly don't remember. I think that's just like he was like the first couple pro games that I watched ever. Like back when I was like, Koreans are good at this game. Like I don't understand. He was just like apparently he was like one of the best foreigners because I was like I didn't know anything about the game. That's all I ever heard. So
Okay. All right, let's see. How many hermit crabs do you own?
right now 3.
Cool. I had one in.
Totes.
I had a. We had one in second grade that you could take home. Like every weekend, someone took the hermit crab home. That's the only time I've ever had an interaction with a hermit crab. What else we got? I tell a lot of cool story bro stories.
I think both of ours were like really cool stories. Not gonna lie.
Let's see, the RedEye thing. We did talk about the RedEye thing. Fucking sick lineup. Yes, it is. Kane is not here, so we can ask that. ZombieGrub is half of the largest pillar holding up North American StarCraft. Who should we be keeping an eye on? Are there any old NA players that you think could come back strong in Legacy of the Void?
People to look out for. I think Intense has been playing really solid, in that his macro is actually looking like it'll turn his looking like really good, like a really good player. For anyone that should return for like Legacy of the Void, man, I don't know. That I think could come back strong Legacy of the Void.
Okay.
I don't. I can't think of anyone who would even be like willing to, right? I'm trying to think of people that would like have any interest at all.
Idra?
Right, that's what we're talking about, right? So that's the person I think of, but I really don't think he would unless he changed a race.
I don't know. I
don't
can't
think
see him
Zerg is.
coming back.
I actually think Legacy of the Void Zerg is more boring. But it's just my opinion, so I don't know if you like it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll. Steven, are you planning on? I know you've been all circle jerk.
Oh, does
jokes.
Destiny count? Destiny will come back for Legacy of the Void, and I'll
Well,
love it.
so I was just gonna say.
Wow.
I didn't want to. Feed
I mean,
into
yeah, I'll
the.
come back to play for sure, especially because I know a bunch of other fucks that left that are going to be trying to come back and milk money too. I'm going to try to schedule as much shit on top of them as I possibly can. Like, I heard they were thinking about... I'm not joking. I know that sounds like a joke, but it's not. I heard that they were thinking about coming back and doing, like, State of the Game episodes. If they do that, like, we're running unfiltered episodes literally right on top of that shit. Fuck that.
Do you think that's actually going to happen? I just saw the soon.
Yeah,
tweet.
yeah, of course. Yeah. Because Legacy of the Void will be a big, it'll be big when it first comes out. Like, there'll be a huge flurry of excitement. That's why you saw Day9, who's been banning people from his Twitter that asked him about StarCraft II. Like, he tweeted about StarCraft, like, a couple weeks ago, to try to get back onto it. And I'm sure everybody's going to come back for, like, the first, like, week or two, and then they'll just piece the fuck out again.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to hop on that fucking cash train.
I don't. Maybe it's genuine excitement. They came around.
Fuck off. Nope, fuck. Don't give a fuck. Genuine excitement for fucking money. No, it's fucking bullshit. That like fucking like no one like fucking I'll suck myself off for a little bit here. Like there were very few other large figures that would stand beside me when I was criticizing StarCraft II for all of its problems when we were in fucking Wings of Liberty, right? Fucking like let's be real, like everything I said is pretty much come to fruition. This game is dead as fuck, right? Like again, I'm jerking myself off a little bit, right? But there were very few other people that would stand beside me and use their positions in the community to rally for the things that I was saying. Day9 wouldn't criticize Blizzard. Arto and fucking made his post about how StarCraft 2 is the most beautiful game ever made. Tasteless doesn't give a fuck about anything. All these other guys, Grubby, talked about how people were just being dramatic. All these other fucking Blizzard dick suckers just sucked off Blizzard and they didn't give a fuck. And DJ Wheat said it was the most beautiful game and it was like Breaking Bad. And all these other people did this shit and then they fucking left to go make their money in some other game. and they didn't say shit to Blizzard because they wanted to stay on Blizzard's good side. What? And then they're gonna come back to fucking dead Legacy of the Void for a quick cash grab before leaving again to go make money elsewhere? Nah, fuck that shit. I tanked my fucking career like following StarCraft II. Like I lost out on so much potential money from switching to other games because I enjoyed the game a lot or whatever. And to see people like not use their positions in the community to rally for change and then to bounce the fuck out when they realize the game is dead as fuck, which is pretty much what's happened, and then to try to come back at Legacy of the Void and do another quick cash grab. No, fuck that shit. That's fucking disgusting. I'll do everything I can to fuck over those streams. Like I'm serious. It's like that really, really, really wrestles me.
I don't know those guys. They weren't around when I was here. When I came around, so I can't say. But I did see that episode with you, and what is the? It was you on with I think Idra, DJ Wheat, and
He was a guest caller, weren't you?
yeah, and
Yeah.
there was that scene where you were just like, this is exactly what's going to happen, and you just laid it on and then said fuck you and left, and yeah.
It was not.
You didn't say
rightly
fuck
handled.
you, but you said just that's it, and then DJ Wheat said fuck you. I think when you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
very
It was,
angry,
it was more the opposite of anything else.
he was very upset that you just said your piece and ditched out. But I mean, I like DJ Wheat, I like all those guys, but you were right.
I mean, I like them all. Like, and people made their decisions and went to where they wanted to go, and I don't blame anybody. I mean, I'm motivated financially too. Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie. There's a reason why I've been grinding League of Legends hardcore the past couple weeks, but I'm honest about it. I would like to say that counts for something, but like, I don't hold like any ill will against any of the people that left for whatever reason or didn't want to criticize Blizzard because you don't want to burn bridges. Like, I understand all of that. Like, that's fine, but don't fucking come running back to Legacy of the Void because you want a little fucking handout before you peace out again. Like, everything else is fine. I really don't want to see all of those guys come running back to Legacy of the Void, get everybody super fucking excited when they don't want to do any work towards like building the community or making the game better. They just want to get like their quick like Legacy of the Void flurry cash check and then piece the fuck out back to Overwatch or Hearthstone or whatever other IPs are. You know, like that would just bother me. The coming back to Legacy of the Void after not wanting to do anything for Heart of the Swarm, to come back for that game, for that cash grab, and then to leave would really bother me. That's all I'm saying, I guess. That sounds kind of petty, but maybe it is.
No, I get where you're coming from with that. I really do.
No, yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know. I think I don't want to burn any bridges either, like right now, right? But we already see some of that happening where people are coming back in a scene seemingly from nowhere, and it's like, well, I wonder if Legacy of the Void has anything to do with it. Like, are you getting prepped to get that cash grab? Maybe you are. Maybe you actually did enjoy StarCraft II. I don't know.
My only problem with Day 9 in all this is that he didn't give a formal say, hey, I'm just going to go do other stuff until Legacy of the Void came back. He just kind of disappeared and then got angry when people started saying, what the fuck? I don't agree with people, bashing him, just, that vitriol.
Yeah, I don't think Day
people
9.
like
I
to-
think for the most part, like Day 9's intentions were always pure. He did Day 9 dailies for a long fucking time.
Oh,
even
yeah.
After they started to drop off in viewerships. I would never shit on Day 9, but the way that he left, and I understand that's just how the way the game is played because people in general are too stupid. Like the average person is too stupid to handle honesty. They can't do it, so you have to do bullshit. Like I mean, I don't know, like slinking out of a game and not telling anybody. And then like banning people on your Twitter that ask you about it. I mean, like I don't know, like that leaves like a bad taste in your mouth. And then to do all of that is fine, but then to come back for Legacy of the Void, like God, my fucking asshole like puckered when I read that fucking thing that he tweeted. Like, does anyone else have the perfect feeling when your production lines up in StarCraft II and it's like, oh my God. Like, dude, just if you want to do Hearthstone or like make your own game, like that's cool, but don't try to like slink back in after you've been like muting people off your Twitter for asking you about StarCraft. Like, come on, dog. Like, just do your thing, and that's cool, but don't fucking feign interest again with your fucking 3 GMs, all races. Like, come on, let's be real now.
I'm sorry, this has absolutely nothing to do with that, but why can't my Kappa HD work? Who do I need to subscribe to for Kappa HD to work?
What is Kappa HD?
It's a colored Kappa face.
Oh, channel turbo. Does that mean you have to be a turbo user?
Oh, okay, apparently.
Right.
Yeah, well, I guess I need to love Twitch more. Anyway, I don't know if this is a troll question, so if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to, but it says, how do you rate the success of your Boston streams, and why weren't you invited to the Twitch VIP party?
Oh God, I hated Boston. It's the worst city I've ever been in the entire United States. Have any of you been to Boston?
I want to go, actually, but you tell me why I don't want to go to Boston.
Maybe I made the mistake of trying to drive. I like my independence when I go to places, but the weather was cold, it was windy, driving was a fucking nightmare. Apparently Boston subscribes to the train of thought that parking garages should be illegal, so they have none. There's like
Street
underground
parking everywhere?
and like two places. No, there's no street to park on because they don't have like any place to put their snow. I don't know why they can't like dump their snow in the river or whatever, or I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know. The like whole lanes are just like swallowed by snowbanks and shit. And like the parking is non-existent and the traffic is fucking dumb and all the intersections are stupid and the roads don't make sense and they're falling apart and shitty. I hated that city. Oh my God, I hated it.
DC.
What? I haven't been to DC now.
DC is just it just like it's like here's a left turn into like a wall and you're just like why?
And there's construction all the time.
It
DC is a
sounds
war
similar.
zone, a concrete war zone. So what about the Twitch party? Was there anything to
Oh,
that, or
my-
is that
I
just
just-
a?
I just have no connections at Twitch anymore. A lot of there's like this isn't this is like a whole other thing, right? What do you work you have a real job, right?
Yeah.
Lycan, yeah. You know that once you get past like being a line level employee, you have to like work on a second job at your main job, and that's networking, right? Because that always determines promotions, it determines like lateral movement in a company,
Yeah.
it determines like all of your opportunities come from there. I always like to pretend that I'm independent of that world, but I'm not. So like I haven't built like any connections at Twitch at all, and I don't have like any friends there and all that. So like it's just weird. Um, yeah, so I wasn't like on any party list or I didn't get an email for any of that shit. I was pretty rustled about it. I went to one of the panels was how to be a successful live streamer, and there were like three people giving that panel that all had like 400, 500 concurrent viewers, and I'm pretty sure they got like fully paid trips to go and give those panels. Like, yeah, but I mean, it's just me being butt rustled.
I understand. Cerberus7, to answer your question, he's asking, why do you guys object to players? I think that he means returning for Legacy of the Void Cash. It has always been about the money, and if you can't sustain yourself playing StarCraft II professionally, why stay? It's because these people have gone. If I understand, you can correct me. I believe the sentiment is these people were here for StarCraft. They were StarCraft folks, and then when StarCraft started to die, and they weren't doing anything to try to prevent that in the first place, and then it dies, and they were like, well, skedaddle. And now they're coming back for Legacy of the Void because they know there's going to be hype, and they're not going to probably like, you can't rely on them to stick around. Am I?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care. I don't care about players and shit. It's just like huge personalities that have the capability of influencing things, not saying anything, and then leaving, and then coming back. I think it's gonna work. When it comes to like a lot of players like returning and shit, like Greetorp and shit coming back, like I don't know. I don't necessarily like. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with like coming back for money. Again, like all of my decisions, or a lot of my decisions, have financial components to them. Like some of them, you know, more financially motivated than others. I'm not going to deny that. It's just that when you piece the fuck out before after insisting nothing was wrong, and then you come back for Legacy of the Void, I think there's like that's like the two different things there. For me personally, I don't know about ZombieGrub.
I'm just bothered that they literally just dropped it entirely. So like I imagine like a lot of pro players, they still play it occasionally, right? Because they like the game first and foremost, and it's just like it's almost like an addiction. But with like personalities, even if they played the game, it just feels like they literally do absolutely nothing when they peace out. There's no like, hey, I streamed once because I thought it was fun. There's no like, hey, I did a $500 tournament because I really liked the game and I want to do it. It was just literally like nothing. Don't like it at all anymore.
I wanted to do, you know, a lot of people said don't do it, you know, because I do read the comments on Reddit, and I wanted to do a Christmas episode though, because I did like the one, you know, I had seen the state of the game VODs for the Christmas episodes and all that, so I was like, oh, that'd be cool. So I reached out to JP, and when I asked him, he said, I have no intention of ever doing anything with the eSports. And I don't remember if the word again was in there, but it was basically just, I have no interest in touching eSports. So that's what I thought was kind of weird when I saw the tweet from State of the Game. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe that's just coming. Maybe Legacy of the Void is going to invigorate people. I don't know, but maybe it's just money. Who knows? But either way, I was surprised to see that because when I had talked to him, he had said it wasn't just, hey, I'm not going to come on your show. It was, hey, no esports. So
Well, I mean, Blizzard is going to reach out to people. Like people that they have good relationships with for those Legacy of the Void launch parties. Like I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a State of the Game hosted on the official Blizzard channel or whatever, like when the StarCraft II. Remember, because they did a bunch of Heart of the Swarm event release things.
Yep.
So I'm sure Blizzard already has all of those connections set up. I'm sure that Dan is probably already contracted, and a bunch of other personalities, probably DJ Wheat too, are all like contracted by Blizzard to be doing those streams or whatever. I'm sure that's all already like penned out and signed and everything. Like I would be surprised if it wasn't.
yeah, no, I wouldn't either. I was hoping that maybe that I'd have the show as badass enough that, you know, when BlizzCon came around or something like that, they were like, hey, you know, come do like player interviews and shit like that, you know, with the, you know, you and
Wow.
Destiny and all that. But
StarCraft 2's not that dead yet.
yeah, but but we're not there yet with production. Anyway, let's continue on with these questions. Actually, let's not go with a question. I want to bring something up because we didn't do it at the show last week, and it was something I wanted to discuss. There was the issue between Targa and I think Firecake. Like Firecake has always been BM or something on the ladder, and he made some comment to Targa, and that it blew up like it always does. And I've never liked people going out onto Twitter, and we've had this conversation on the show before. I don't like people going out to Twitter with their issues, and you know they were talking about code of conduct and player behavior and all that. But one of the things it also says in the WCS handbook is player behavior. Don't take things to social media until Blizzard has resolved the issue, right? So I was trying to defend not Firecake, but defend my dislike of people taking their issues to Twitter. And someone, a team manager actually from one of the bigger teams, messaged me and said, "Hey, you don't want to get caught defending Firecake." I'm like, "I'm not. I'm just saying I don't like what Target did." And he's like, "Yeah, well, it looks like blah blah blah." And basically, what he said is, Blizzard doesn't take action against players unless they take it public like that, right? And so you kind of got me thinking about this, Steven, because you were talking about, these people had the chance to kind of talk to Blizzard and they didn't. And I really think that, people need to take their issues to Blizzard. If they feel that something's wrong with the game, the community figureheads as a whole. So your In Controls, your, Day 9 when he's in StarCraft II, all these people need to come to Blizzard as a collective, team managers, players, and say, hey, look, this is what we want. This is what we think needs to happen. If you feel that Blizzard isn't taking the proper actions against players, then say, hey, we email you like we're supposed to, but we never hear any feedback, so we have to go through other channels. Can you please fix that? And be a little, I don't know, I think there needs to be a little more organization amongst the figures when it comes to getting Blizzard and all these other people to do something. So that's my little rant. I wanted to cover that a little bit last week, but we didn't do an episode. So with that, Destiny, I don't think this question needs to be asked because it's what can Blizzard do in Legacy of the Void to allow foreign Terrans to be competitive without making them OP in the hands of a few Koreans? And I really think that Terrans are doing just fine right now. But Steven or ZombieGrub, do either of you have a different opinion on that?
Go ZombieGrub.
Oh, okay. Sorry, say the question again. I just spaced right now.
No worries. He wants to know.
Oh, the Terran thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, I thought that was a fairly interesting question because Terrans have always been the ones that people talk about being less impressive in the hands of foreigners, but most impressive with the Koreans. And I actually kind of agree with you, like in that it's really not that bad anymore. We have our foreigner hopefuls that are finally Terran as opposed to like I don't know, like the mass. I think we have like more Zergs and Protoss in the past, but now it's fine. Like I can count so many more Terrans than I used to like 2 years ago. Marine Lord, Bunny, oh god,
Cass Happy.
Cass Happy, but I'm thinking of the other Marine guy, Marine Lord, and oh my god, well whatever. The point is, there's a lot more Terrans nowadays that like I'm excited for that are foreigners. When it like literally, if you cast like an EU tournament, it used to be just like. Zergs and Protoss.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the game is still relatively balanced. I don't think we're having any issues right now. I think we're in a good place. I think it's all coming down to players when we see big upsets and all that. All right, so a couple questions about VODs.
Hero Marine. Oh, that's what it was.
Hero Marine. There you go. A few questions about VODs for the late game. Late game VODs are youtube.com/LycanGTV, just the same as the Twitch. But I haven't been uploading VODs because the quality has been bad. Today has been great. We were here. I didn't have to screw with XSplit except one time, and so everything was great. This VOD will be up today, I promise. But I don't like posting bad VODs, and I don't have the time or a video editor to do that. So when there's a bad VOD, you get to see it, and then it's done. Is Destiny... All right, so Steven, I know you've been playing a lot of other games right now. Couple questions. Are you, and this doesn't seem to be a troll. Are you going to play SC2 until Legacy of the Void comes out? Like, are you going to keep up on it as far as playing?
I might. I mean, like, I still have all the same problems that I've had before the ladder. The ladder feels dead as fuck. I only play the same like 3 or 4 people, or just the MBQQ hackers. I guess that's not enjoyable. So I don't know. The ladder is kind of like totally fucking demotivating for me at the moment. So I don't know.
I played an MBQQ guy for the first time. He was a diamond player though. I did, I watched the replay right away.
Hmm.
There was like two things that I thought were kind of weird, but nothing concrete. So I
Yeah, a
haven't.
lot of the MBQQ guys aren't actually hackers. They're just um they're just in MBQQ. Like they invite a fuck ton of people.
Right. Okay. So let's. I guess I'll keep that in mind and won't jump to conclusions next time I play MBQQ. But I think that they have been given that brand now as
Yeah,
hackers.
yeah, sure.
Oh, I already answered that one. What's the most alive game at the moment? Do either of you have an opinion on that?
League of Legends still.
League of Legends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily. And then Dota 2, CS:GO, and Hearthstone.
And
I don't
apparently
know what-
Minecraft.
Yeah. I guess we
Uh,
didn't really get into that with the DreamHack thing, but it is kind of weird that Minecraft is more lucrative, I guess, than.
I know they went over it on the yesterday on Remax. Like apparently someone actually figured out what type of esport it was, what happens, but I like glazed over. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, they were talking about it on Remax. I can't see that being really fun to watch, but I've also only played Minecraft on a tablet for an hour, so that's the extent of my knowledge of the game. All right, so we're getting ready to wrap up. One last thing, selfish plug from me. So I do the Lycan League. It's a weekly tournament casted by Base Trade TV. So the awesome ZombieGrub and Rifkin, they make it happen. And Suede is the admin. He's one of the DreamHack admins. He's on point. He won't be there this week though, so I'll actually be adminning for you guys, which will be fun. Because I've never done it before. But I'm gonna try to get someone else to come help. But either way. So yeah, Lycan League, it's open to anyone. There's one every week, and at the end of the month, the first week of the next month is the monthly finals. So at the end of each quarter, though, I'm gonna have one, top 8 tournament. It's gonna be the 6 people that were in the top 2, the first and second place. From each monthly, and then 2 invites, right? And I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that, but I shit you not, the prize is going to be cash, and it's going to be a wrestling belt, right? Like WWF style
Nice.
wrestling belt. In the middle, it's going to have like the Lycan League logo and all that stuff. But then there are 4 panels, and I haven't started a Patreon yet. But if I do, I'm going to make 2 of the panels Patreon rewards, right? So if you're a company and you want your logo on it, it can't just be your fucking logo and like text and all that. It has to be something artistic and cool looking. But you can, advertise your company on it, and then I'm going to take some like a community submission, like hold a contest for you to design a panel, and we'll figure something out. But it's going to be a belt each quarter, and then cash and all that. But anyway, here's the link for for this month's Lycan League. So check it out, sign up, come play. It's free to sign up. It's open to any league. So come maybe play against some people. But it's called the Lycan League because it's my tournament. Like, there's no corporation sponsoring it. I don't have sponsors yet. Sponsors, if you're watching. But I fund the tournament, so I gave it my name. Ta-da. Yeah, that's how the name came about. Anyway, I think that's all I have. ZombieGrub, you're very good at killing time. I actually want to show everyone my shoes real quick. So can you give 30 seconds of tell cat jokes?
Oh my God.
The floor is yours.
I can't even right now. That's the only one I have. Oh.
That was
this is
2 out
awful.
of 10. You gotta have something better than that, please.
I don't know why he thinks I'm good at buying time. Rifkin repeatedly makes fun of me and yells at me for not filling time during casts. So I'm a little panicked right now.
Wow. Oh. This is really fucking random. I remember really odd random things about people. I remember I watched a cast with you and Rifkin, and you were casting a TV something. It might have been a TVZ. And you made a joke at the end that Rifkin didn't understand, but I totally understood it. Where at the end of a game, when fucking, oh my god, like, it's so funny that you brought this up, because anybody that's watched my stream or has watched a lot of Zerg streamers, like, fucking see this shit happen, where the game is fucking over, right? You've won ZVT, it's over, and then there's like this final like 2 minutes where the Terran goes like Super
Oh
Saiyan drop
yeah.
grass. And they might, yeah. And you have like the two final medevacs leave the base, and they micro like each of these 16 Marines with like 4 million fucking AP. I'm like, dog, I've got like 400 Ultralists in your base. Can you not do this right now? Holy shit. It's like one of the most annoying things about endgame like ZVT.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what were you guys talking about?
we were filling time, mate.
Yeah.
All right, so check this out, folks. So these are my Protoss stompers. I had them made before I started going to the Red Bull event, so I could be badass, right? So these are modeled after my favorite Terran Tasia. I was gonna get the guy doing like the Tasia clap. I was gonna get that on the side of the shoe, but I'm white and I don't look good in high tops, so I got the low tops, and there wasn't room for Tasia. So on the side you have the Team Liquid logo, right? And it's got like StarCraft-y goodness on it. And then you got the Terran
Are
logo.
you gonna full screen your webcam so we can see this shit? You're talking about it. I want to see it. What the fuck?
I thought that was good enough, but okay. Hold on. Let me add my camera again. There we go.
Oh, I see it now. It's cool.
Oh.
So that's the Terran logo, Team Liquid logo on that one, and then it's kind of the same thing. Team Liquid logo on the inside. I didn't get anything on the toe, and then the other Terran logo. So these are my Protoss stompers. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to show you guys.
Wow, that's cute.
Thank you.
It was well worth the wait.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so that's all I have. This time it is now the part where we all say the same thing we say every week. ZombieGrub, this is your second time on the show. Thank you for coming. I'm very glad to have had you. You want to tell everyone where you are, where they can find you, and what's going on in ZombieGrub's world?
Sure. Thanks for inviting me. You can follow me on Twitter at ZG Gaming and on Twitch at ZombieGrub. But I also want to quickly plug that's well, first, Base TV is casting a 2v2 tournament on Friday. That should be really fun. I think everyone's getting hyped from the 2v2 train. But also that I'll be at the DC LAN on Saturday all day. And if you guys live in DC, Virginia, Maryland, then you should check out the link that I'm posting right now. And come down, because even if you don't play, it's like all day, and we go Korean barbecue afterwards, and it's pretty fun.
What Korean barbecue place are you guys going to?
Ilmei.
I've not been to that one.
Yeah, well, it's usually really expensive during the day, but after 10 p.m., it's like $14 for a buffet.
Oh, shit.
Wait, for what?
For a buffet, like Korean
At
barbecue
where?
buffet. Ilmei in Annandale.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Steven? Where are you going to be?
On my stream?
Yeah? Yeah, what's your stream?
Does anybody not know it? Destiny.gg.
All
I
right.
go for Platinum 5 today. I got a best of 3 that I have to win.
Oh,
Fucking...
so I didn't fucking get this troll question, so I think I'm gonna have to ask it myself. Do you have any plans to run Destiny 2 in Heart of the Storm, or are you saving that for Legacy?
No. I'm gonna try to make it like the first Legacy of the Void tournament. That's like my goal. As soon as Legacy of the Void is announced, I'm gonna start getting that shit like rolling hardcore.
Awesome. Well, then there you go, guys. Legacy of the Void, fucking Destiny 2. I really like when I get social media followers. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good about myself because I'm irrelevant. So if you have Twitter, here's the link at LycanGTV. If you could click that link, that follow button, if you have Twitter, I swear to God, I print out new followers' names and then I sleep with them. Like I take my waifu pillow and I take those Twitter follower names and I put them over the face of Kamiko-chan and then I cuddle with it. So if you could like let me cuddle with your names tonight, oh, man, that would make me so happy. Also, if you have Facebook, I started using the Facebook for LycanGTV again. So if you guys could like that as well, we're talking super social media boost. Give me that sponsor, Dirty Esport Money, 42060 no scope something. Anyway, my name is Lycan. With me, I have Destiny and ZombieGrub. This has been The Light Game, episode 19. We're happy to have had you. Thank you guys for coming on, and have a good night.